and welcome everyone to our joint podcast series with Whole Soul Mastery and Whole Soul School and Foundation. I'm back again with Dr. Terry Cole-Whittaker, who's joining me today for another exciting topic that I think we can all relate to. I'm Marie Moeller, and I'm an author, an intuitive, and a messenger of living an inspired, authentic, and rich life. And we've had a couple of podcasts, Terry, recently. I just will bring attention to them for a minute. We talked about spiritual sleuthing 2 times ago. And the last time we talked about us as living pendulums. And today we're going to be talking about mantras, affirmations, and words as portals of realities. So maybe you can start us off, Terry, talking about what is a portal.
Portal. I know, because it's so big. When you look at, I don't know if anybody's out there is looking at all the old history of Tartaria, which is so fabulous, and how the earth used to look, because there's some relics that are left, and many of them are stargates. And those stargates are around, and I don't know if anybody or any of you used to watch, there was a TV show called Stargate for a while, probably back in, I don't know, late 90s or something like that, because I remember watching it. And these guys, it would be a big round thing that was, and you'd walk up and you would step into it, and then you'd be in this other reality completely. So, and that they're all over the earth. And also, now I have memory as being an Atlantean, and I have a memory of being a Lyrian. I don't have a memory of being a Lyrian, but I know I was. And then also I came in a craft from Sirius, Dog Star Sirius here. So I have all these bits and memories of these different things. And so I was called to notice those stargates. And one of these retreats I used to do here in Washington State on the west side, I had 150 acres. And so I had trails and things. And so we would do a process of walking through a portal where there was like a couple of great trees and something. And so we would get to this point, and what you were going to do is leave on this side whatever it is you don't want anymore. And you're going to, that's just like words or thoughts or affirmations or mantras in a sense. You're going to then, as you step across through the portal, because you're making it mentally, whatever, then what you're going to do is step into that as you want to be, as you desire to be. So you leave whatever that old body, the feelings and who you thought you were and all that, and like really fresh. And what kind of a portal do you want to, just basically what kind of a life do you want to live? What kind of a life do you want to live? And as I've been really deeply studying in the Vedas, this Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, which is awesome, all about the divine mother, the supreme source of life, mother. And it's really mind blowing of what people have been taught and how to be. And so you get, and then the poor men now are all being tortured just the same as the women. And you get in the world, you got all this confusion, but that's a portal. Say, what's going on in the world, what's going on in your life, a person is a result of a portal you walked into. It could have been it could have been that day you walked into the bar. It was like you were just kind of lonely looking for something. You walk into the bar and then you met trouble, I'm telling you. Or maybe you met the mate of your life and they're happy and you didn't know why you were in the bar. But, it's like the bar room is a portal. I mean, that's a reality. There is, when my dad passed many years ago, then I went to the bar where he'd go every day and to say hi to his friends there and sit on my dad's bar stool and, just say, thanks, you guys. And because a couple of the young guys went to his funeral and you could tell they were drunk, but they were crying. Adam's dead. He was on the stool the other day, man. I mean, he must say he was really nice with kids and people like that. So anyway, so it was like that portal was a lifestyle for him. And so he would push open those doors into that bar at 10 in the morning, and his friends would show up. They just drink beer, but they talk, they counsel each other. Young guys come in, it's a lifestyle. There's also like a portal of people who go on amusement rides. There's a whole culture that travels to go on these rides, and they have a language. They do things, because it's like, if say you're going to go to a new place and a new job, whatever, that day you walk into that building, it's called the entrance. That means the trance. You're entering the entrance of that consciousness. That's a portal.
Wow.
Walking through. Yeah. And everything going on in there is once. And in other words, when people say now goodbye to people, well, goodbye, that means goodbye. That means go get a deal. It's called buying. Everything's about buying. See, so the whole language of our world is set up for sex and buying. Basically, that's it.
Right.
And therefore
that everything is outside of us, like all
everything outside.
Right.
Yeah, you got to go get it out there, but you can't ever get it out there, so you keep trying to get it out there. So now here we get back, say, to mantras, and so I'm in studying the Vedas and things. They're giving me all these secret mantras and things. Now I'm not going to tell them and send them out, because you never want to put real knowledge and the absolute knowledge, but even to bad. You don't really want to help bad people who are really mean, nasty, vicious, cruel, or whatever. It's you pray for them, you do whatever, but if you're giving them knowledge,
enter their portal. Maybe you don't want to enter.
You don't want to enter their portal, no, and you're going to help them to do their evil work, which you don't want to, because you're going to take that on. And we rise and fall by our associations, whether it's the books we read, the movies we see, the words we speak, ever. So let's look at our life then, as we have all these portal choices about, and everybody does. They just don't realize it because they're doing through the same entrance all the time. You enter that trance, and as soon as you go in the market, you want to buy something, because the whole thing is about buy. So, and there's stuff. So this whole life here is not a hologram. People are saying it's not a hologram. It's a simulation that is really created through our own godlike qualities, whereas a hack on consciousness, which is called the mind. Okay, so all is really consciousness, but we in this reality, we're working with all is mind, because this is a mental plane. So let's look then. Mental portals are also, it's like, okay, if you say if you go to a relative's house and you don't really get along, or you do get along, whatever, but as soon as you walk in there, you're a different person now. You're going to be with all these people like you've always been, or whatever may be, and they do what they do like they've always done all the time, and then that's the portal. You step through the door. It's a gate. It's a door. If you don't want to do it, don't go there, or whatever. You can close the door on the portals you don't want.
Wow.
Because I know.
So powerful. Because anybody that's gone to a family reunion, anybody at the holidays, you are entering the trance of the most dominant vibration of that space, right?
That's right.
And you have to be really strong in your self-knowing.
That's right.
To not join whatever.
That's right. To observe more, but you'll start watching your patterns. Who triggers you, who doesn't. But see, most people take all of that. Oh, well, that's natural. Everybody's talking about their new disease. All sickness is also hypnotic trance. And that's really intense for people, because if that's true, death, we don't die. That's a portal. And most people aren't ready for the portal. They say, I don't even want to be there. You've done this limitless numbers of times. It's like once it was almost like it looked like maybe it was like this. It was like whatever did it, it started the insects or however they did that captured humanity, because insects know how to make sounds, vibrations. They know how to make robots. They know how to make control the mind of the creatures they want to eat. No, they're amazing kind of creatures. But like when we, what would you say? It's like what controls people here is the portal called death. And they're afraid, but it's also the pain or the suffering or the loss. But take a look, you do this over and over and over again because you keep going back in to the same portal because you like what's in that portal and you're used to it. But most people, if you even challenge those kind of ideas, they think you're whacked. They think you're crazy. You think you don't know anything because the programming, the trance, the portal, which is electronic, digital, mental, emotional, they're packed with it. Just like say a word, success and failure. Those are big, huge buzzwords. Those portals, it's like to enter the so-called, there was this young man who contacted me, who's an artist and made his own clothing and his thing was to model his own clothes and wear that. And it was a really nice idea. And so I just shared with him that he wanted to be famous and all that. So I shared with him the whole process, how it works and stuff. And he kind of thought, well, maybe I better meditate on this. But it's like there are gatekeepers. So of these portals, you have gatekeepers around. So say I used to tell people, if you want to succeed in something, you basically have to break all the rules because the rules are made so you can't.
Right.
Okay. No, you can't. You can't do that. You can think you could do that, but you really can't do that because we are gatekeepers. They're not going to let you. And so the people then take and play these parts and they do the thing. So, okay, so let's look at our Stargate and we'll take a look at what all these portals. And remember T.S. Eliot in his Narnia, the back of the closet was a portal.
Right.
And that nasty little creep in there was a pedophile. That was a pedophile story. Starting to talk because he was doing that little. As soon as you went through the wall, there was like an elf kind of a guy.
Mr.
Oh yeah. I don't know who he was.
I can't remember his name. Maybe Michael.
Yeah. I don't know.
Tompkins or Mr.
Oh yes, something weird. Maybe that. Yeah. But see,
Mr. Tumnus, was it Mr. Tumnus? I can't remember.
Sorry. I would be, yeah. But anyway, so that whole idea that the back, because I remember watching old 40s movies and stuff. They're black and white. The secret tunnel. There would be like the bookcase would move and you could move and there's a secret tunnel and that would go down to the boat down there or, would go here and they would hide this. And in fact, when I grew up in Newport Beach, down Corona del Mar, my girlfriend lived in a house where right about a house or two off Coast Highway. And right down below it was very close to a beach we went to called Little Beach in Corona. And her house was a pirate house because it had actually an entrance. It had a tunnel that went down to the beach because they would bring their pirate ships in and, anchor them and, whatever, hang out or rob houses or do whatever. But her house had these secret passages in it. I thought it was really cool. But see, everything is a portal. It really is. And I remember, I had heard something about this political leader. I won't give any names. It's a really big. And I had met him a few times because we had our books were being published at the same time. And so we were on when you had to travel to, radio and TV, we would show up at the same places and everything. It was really nice. And then later on in Hollywood, I was at a big Hollywood political fundraising thing. I don't do that now, but anyway, because as a celebrity, they had the celebrity shop. Well, he was there and he made some really lewd remarks to me about, blah, 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 blah. And I found out now even later, I'm so glad I didn't go through that portal. you see, because it's like a mutual friend of ours who had been kind of brutally raped as a young woman, and when we were working, said, what did you know before? She says, I knew not to do it, but I didn't trust myself. And she got in the car. Well, got in that car. That was a portal. See, when people don't say, well, how come that happened to me? Or why did you do that? When did you access that thought, that situation, that person, to say, is that what I want? Because once you go through that door, there's a lot of things. It's just like what's going on in the world right now. There's all these ideas out there and blah, blah, blah. It's going that it is strange, but it's what people are doing because of the program, but they're going to be living those lives. Whatever they're focusing on, whatever they're doing to their bodies, whatever they're doing in their relationships, whatever we're doing, it's like we walked into it. We chose it. We went through a Stargate. We had a vision. We had an idea. It's like, I wanted to be on television minister and all this, but I kept it inside. And then I remember a couple things I did where I had to step through that Stargate and sign the paper. But once then you sign the paper, and all of a sudden now it's an agreement of some kind, and there you've got a world. You got a contract. And that this whole life is built on these contracts. That's one of the things you have to look through and cancel in yourself. Because a lot of things we think we can't cancel. Yes, you can. Because we were tricked. We were entranced. Because we're curious. And it's almost like, so these things. So this thing with when I was studying the Vedas and these mantras, here's the thing, they're called a bij mantra, a seed mantra, some of them. Om is a bij mantra. Om is a seed mantra. And what that means is, because I was looking, what does that mean? It means, and in those ancient times, they would hire a priest who would do the particular mantra that would be the exact sound that would manifest that thing.
Wow.
That you could do that. That's how it works. And so that what happens is our language has been so controlled. Our actually, when a baby starts to talk, they usually they don't trust their intuition as much anymore. And because I remember right when I was first appeared here, well, never born, but appeared in this body this time, that my mother was envious and my dad was afraid. I knew right away because we're intuitive. Don't they say, oh, the kid doesn't know? Yeah, we do. We always know because we were there. It's us. It's us.
Wow. It's such a bigger perspective where any of us, I mean, at any point in our awakening journey, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know entering portals. We don't know that we have the power when we appear, as you say, to know who our parents are and the things that they're dealing with. And then we chose those parents, right? For the reasons that...
you know how we chose it? By our karma. Because if you abuse people, you will get abuser parents. People don't realize that. And once you have to get what your karma is, you got to suck it up. It's because and when you look within, and I look at some of the things that come up to me sometimes I feel so bad about in the past, wasn't a big deal. It was hurt someone's feelings sometimes, saying something or doing something that was like out of envy or jealousy or something just nasty or mean. And those things don't leave you because they're there, and then you also have to say, yeah, I did that. And then therefore, and those things have happened to me. I've gone through all kinds of things, and yet I've survived it all. But what it is because when you choose to get the good out of everything, you're never defeated, because you will get whatever the treasure is there and the goodies. Yes. Because that's what you're using everything for. You don't just say, oh yeah, I'm a victim and I've gone through this all over and over. No, it's okay. How did this happen in my life? So many people, they'll tell, it's always somebody else. They say, but you were there. So if you were there, didn't you have something to do with it? And if you don't get, you do and own it, you can't get over it. Because if you don't own it, you don't own those portals, those doors you've opened, those words you've spoken, those things you've done, you're going to get it. So it's like, if you want a good life, you got to be good. You got to do good deeds. You got to put a smile on your face.
And you have to choose it. You have to choose to put a smile on your face, even if what you're experiencing isn't necessarily what you say, oh my gosh, I want this. Because a lot of people are living lives they would say they don't want.
They don't. That's right.
But when
they're there,
you're the chooser. When you're the chooser, you start to awaken to the fact. I never pay attention to that word entrance, but when you enter the trance, right?
That's right.
The entrance into the portal.
That's right.
You are also the one that can transcend or transcend the portal of experience that you're having.
I did a video called the Trance and Dance. So you don't do the scarcity dance, you do the abundance.
Right.
Exactly. You have people say, but you can see people. Yeah, but you don't understand. So, well, wait a minute. I do understand. I have been there. Are you kidding? And you have to pull yourself out. And you've got to actually seek help from within, or you go to class or teachers, counselors. I mean, all the people who helped me in my life. But I have to reach out, because you say, okay, I want that. I want that life. Okay. What life are you living now? That was what you have chosen. It doesn't mean it's bad, good, or indifferent, because I'm not saying you have to live in a mansion to be happy. It looks so silly when you get these celebrities buying a 20 or 40 or $60 million house that looks like a shopping center. I wouldn't want to live in a house like that. I like Hobbit house.
And
I like it where we're cozy, Michael and I and the cat. We're cozy in here. We're, huggy buggy and working together. And because you live in a house with a bunch of bedroom. Why? What do you know how much work that is? I mean, my God, that you have to do that sort of thing. That's lonely and sad, and it's ridiculous. It's really. But that entrance, that entrance into, you know what it was? Remember the story Pinocchio?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Disney ruined all of them, but some of these came from really good stories. And it was about this old man that wanted to have really a real boy. And so he was a puppeteer. So he made a puppet and he prayed, it said to the star, but that's the Dog Star series. That's one. When you wish upon a star, it makes you wish on a star out there, which just is a light out there. You don't even know what it is, instead of God within. That was a big program. A lot of these are all predictive programming. And that portal of that star. So he then, with his friends, got into trouble. So as a little boy, then they went to the fun zone with the fox and the guy, and they're getting in trouble. They're doing bad things and drinking and smoking and, eating bad things. And, they're now in trouble. So his life, because he's in that. But then when the dad got eaten by the whale or somebody, I think, remember the father, he saved him. He went and helped, and then he became a real boy. Because it's like most people are like puppets. And what you do, you have to have compassion, marks if it's a real person or not. Because real people have compassion. They care. Wow. That somebody was hurt, they'd go help them. They're not trying to hurt people. They practice ahimsa.
Yes.
And and our karma is actually our punishment, because Divine Mother, source of life and God and good and all that, isn't going to beat you up. You're beating yourself up because you beat somebody else up. So you get to know what it feels like, baby, so you can come back home again and you paid your debt. Don't do it again. You don't go, yeah.
Change, right? Like I think
Yeah.
what's so beautiful about what we're talking about, and you said you could find a teacher to work with.
Yeah.
But you can just start changing your words. Start changing.
That's right.
Talking
your mantras, your affirmations.
Correct. Everything
That's
you're
right.
saying is a command of something you want to experience.
That's right. So let's take an example of prosperity, like that. Okay. So like if the person is saying, I ain't got no money, well, that's your portal. So the divine always says yes. So it agrees with you. You never have any money. And then you could say, see, I knew I was right. Well, of course, because that's your mantra. And you say it all the time. Or remember that terrible Born to Lose. They say more people commit suicide listening to country western music than any, because a lot of times when people commit suicide, play music on so they feel really bad or whatever. I don't know.
It's a match.
Yeah.
It's a match to what they're experiencing for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
I know. And that's why also some people could even bounce into a podcast like this and they'll bounce back out because, wrong portal. If there's so much.
The other night, yes, was someone here at the place. We were, and someone was going to move into another place, and the guy went to open the door. Someone was already in there. So he had to close the door. You can't go in that portal. Somebody's already in it. It is. It's a portal. It's like, and notice how when you come home, if you make your home so sweet, plants and nice and beauty and everything you like, you go in there. When you open that door, you go into your home portal. That's beautiful. And also, this world is a portal. You see, this was a choice at some level. This reality that is based on birth and death. And what this is, and people can say, oh, there's good reasons for it and all that stuff. Yeah, but it's extremely repetitive and you can't get out of it because you're not in it. It's like, it's so tricky. It's like one of those Mexican finger puzzles where it's straw, you put, and the more you try and get out, the more stuck you are.
Yes.
You have to relax and let go, and take your fingers out, but you keep working it. So it's like, so that portable, or I know another one is, because you always want to say you're lucky. I always want to say I'm lucky, I'm fortunate, my life is wonderful. People ask me, how are you? I say I'm excellent. I've never been better in my entire time in the game. I mean, and I say, as you get older, you got to get better.
And that's where that playfulness comes in.
Yeah,
you play your way and you don't take it too seriously. You can just portal your way out.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Yeah. Remember to have these doors to open, door 1, 2, 3, which door you go. It could be this animal or it could be this park, but make sure you know what the door is behind it before you open it. and who is the person who told you. Never play a loser game, because it's like, if someone wants you to gamble and they made it up, you're going to lose, because
right.
It's what's the object of the game. And we tend to be game players. We're very curious, and you can tell by the way people go to sports or they go to any of these things, because there's a natural inclination to gather in ceremony and different things and more of a tribal, but people were not originally, we're not to live in big groups. We're very we need our own individuality and our own space, very much so. So
we need our own space, and then we also desire to belong in community. And
that's right. That's balance
of that.
And you can come and go. See, I remember when I was trekking in the Himalayas, and I was up at this Namche Bazaar. It was a Tibetan Buddhist camp, and on the weekends they would have a festival where all the Tibetans and the Buddhists would come, and they bring their goodies to share and sell, and music, and the boys and the girls get together or whatever they're doing. But yeah, where you go back home again. But it was like the Hispanic way to have a plaza, and at night everybody would just kind of circle. In fact, when I used to live on Balboa Island in Newport Beach, and what the habit would be, it was really nice. At night, a lot of people would just walk the entire island around, and people would have their drapes open, and they'd be maybe watching TV, and people would look in, they'd look out. Yeah, you would. It was really nice. That was, yeah, we'd walk the whole island, and you'd see people, you wave, they wave at you, you walk, and it was nice.
Wow.
But see, people get that's a portal. Take a look when people say, "Oh, I wish I had that life." Someone said, a lot of people say, "Oh, I wish I could live in nature like you are." And I said, "Well, start right where you are. Go into nature as much as you can. Get plants in your house. Start to grow things. It's like if you can't be something all the way, you're not ready. Open that door, and you get in, and you start participating, like this thing with mantras and affirmation. And God is my source and my supply is also a really good one. However, or the divine mother or father, however you like, is my source and my supply. And what happens is we get all caught up that money is the source of our supply. Well, this money is manufactured as a control device, obviously. And they put their pictures on it, and they do their stuff with all the money and everything, and make the rules. Like be really careful if people come to where you're living and want to organize you in a community and get you going. We don't need to be organized. We don't need to be controlled like that, because we really know when we work on ourselves in that sense, at that portal, our nature is kindness. Our nature is compassion. Our nature is participation. It's who we are. So I think anybody that's listening, like why people will do mantras, like, okay, and I wanted to go back to this about the finding either an affirmation. What my book, remember, I called Love and Power in the World Without Limits. It's about the feminine God, the woman. It is so full of questions and affirmations and clearings. I thought it's very deep. You could use that so much to clear yourself of old portals, old places where you'd go in your mind, old things you believe, old things you're allowing. Because it's like if you want to have a beautiful life, you have to be beautiful. That means be you to the full. That's what my little slogan is. That beautiful means be you to the full. And that doesn't mean your mind, doesn't mean your false self. It doesn't mean the personality, but it means the self that is you, that nobody ever really sees or recognizes, because unless they're really looking, but that portal of what kind of a life do you want now and forever? And it's available. Like so many people want a portal to get out of here or to get over there, or we're interdimensional. Well, yeah, but where do you think you're going to go? This world's all in the mind. It won't matter, because because of who we are, our capabilities can take a thought or a word. Like, I remember this one woman said, if you keep acting like that, no one will ever want you. Okay, that was the mother. So that person her whole life was with the portal, stayed away, because they've in her mind, nobody wants me, nobody likes me, nobody wants to be around me, because that portal, that becomes like a continual state. It's like it's there all the time, that affects everything else you do. When you have to see it's just a thought.
it's the lens you begin to like
Yeah,
basically look through, and then you can't see it any other way other
that's
than
right.
being trapped in that world.
That's
Yes.
right. Trapped in it. That's it.
Yeah.
Trapped in it.
And that's why
And
new experiences and new people, if you choose
that's right.
wisely,
Yeah.
can shift those lenses, right?
Yes.
You love
Yes.
your books, like opening up your perception,
Yes. Right. That's right.
idea or concept. Yeah.
It's
That's
our
why being
perception.
lifelong learner.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
powerful. Yeah.
What do you think about? I mentioned before, this sweet person that contacted me who had 15 years ago had weighed 400 pounds, and now she's 134. But what she decided, and she had MS, and had all this medication that made her like that. Just she couldn't control things or whatever. So she, for 15 years, eats only fruit. Now her body looks great. She's healthy. She's healed. She's control her, and she doesn't have stretch marks. I mean, see, the body does heal itself. That's when I had drunk my own urine. When I had the brown recluse spider bite on my leg, and my leg was 3 times the size. It was flesh eating. It would pop out, and big gouges in my leg, like 3 times as big, eating my leg up. And the doctors told me they were going to cut my leg off, and in 2 weeks I'd probably be dead. Oh, really? I'm out of here. I don't like your methods.
Yeah, you left that portal.
Yeah, I left the portal. I did, because the portal would go into our hospital, which then you can't get out. Like in India, they actually have a gunman at the door. You can't get out unless the doctor lets you. So you pay your bill. I know, pretty interesting.
That respect. Good thing you're back in the States, Terry. I mean,
yeah. But those are portal, and they're interesting. But you also know you got in, you can get out.
Yes.
You do, but you have to work at it, because we get used to it. Everybody's telling you can't, because if you're seeking counsel from those that have limited ideas, and they have no realize, they're only going to share with you their opinions. And what I did is in my studies, I'd go study where my teacher studied. I track it. I'm a tracker. I go back. I'm over it. I got stuff from Ernest Holmes. Who did he get it from? All these other people. And that was his opinion he put out. That was good. And then you go, and I track that person. I went back that person. I went back there. You just keep tracking. And then you find those doors. If you don't want to go in those rooms, don't open the door.
And let's make that really clear, Terry, because that I'm seeing that happening with a lot of people in the world, with all the changes and all the energy swirling around. It's more of a bit of vibrational soup than than ever on the planet.
Yes, right. That's right.
And every invitation that you receive, whether it's via email or a text, or somebody knocks literally on your door, but they're asking you to do the tango. They're asking you.
That's right.
With the portal they're offering. And a lot of people, this is where that empathy, niceness comes in, because I think people feel like, well, it wouldn't be nice of me if I didn't accept that invitation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I think we have to really prioritize self-care and soul care. If we know the answer is no, it's the kindest thing in the world to say it to them and for you, whether you see it that way or not. And this is where I don't know.
Oh, good.
Because I haven't talked about this, Terry, quite. So I don't know that I have the words yet, but it's like we have to have the strength to stand up for our soul power.
That's right. Soul power.
No one else will. Right.
That's
and that doesn't always make a lot of friends in a world that expects that compliance, that expects that collusion with the invitations.
That's right.
And I think people on the spiritual path, there are times, I've definitely faced it. I think you have, Terry, too, giving good examples. And I could feel it in your spirit when we have to be ourselves and claim a no. If the empath,
it doesn't feel right, no. But you know what? That is the problem with certain spiritual teachings, where there's no discernment. You're saying, oh, we're all the same, or if you see it in me, it's because it's in you. But this isn't true. This muddles the whole thing, because it's not a real teaching. you see. And it's that you have choice. And you know what that is? It's discernment. And that's what I was lacking myself. And because I wanted people to like me. Okay. And when we're so much in that, you have to become like them for them to like you. And it's like once you know this, your spiritual path, once you're on, you're not going to quit. No, it's not about quitting. There is never any quitting. People say, "Oh, I'll be dead and gone." Yeah, but you are life, and you will incarnate somewhere, somehow, so always, because you make everything happen as who you are. You're a spark of God, the divine. You're the Shakti that makes life happen. You are life. So you better get used to it. You can't just die and just forget about it. It's over. No. You're going to take up, baby, where you left off. So you better look to see what it is that's going to happen and know how to make that transition. Most people don't. They don't even think about it. Or, oh, well, I had what I they go because they're afraid. And it's like, it's up here. I've got to get a new driver's license now, and I got to get a new car registration because I guess I got to do that. I go, oh God, I don't have to do that. And then because you got to drive here, you got to drive there. Okay, wait. So I said, okay. I was making myself miserable because I was thinking about this. I said, okay, now let's let me pick. I'll pick the day I'm going to do it, so that I'm not any other day. I don't have to think about it. I saw that day, that's the day I'm going to invest it. Well, then I just started looking what it meant. I had to go, I had to keep, tracking it. Where is it? I found it's real easy. The truck's going to come across the street from me. Because the Department of Motor Vehicles now, they close their offices because they want to make people give up driving. It's all the cattle going in the tunnel, closing off options everywhere. So I would have to go drive a couple of hours this place and that place and go. I don't go anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere. I drove 53 miles last year. No. I've been everywhere. People say, where'd you go? I've been everywhere. I've done everything. Trust me.
I like what you said. You've been everywhere. And now you just know that you are where life is happening.
Yes.
You are where life is happening. You don't have to go.
Yeah. I don't have to go. Exactly. It's all right here. Oh, I know. You're so sweet. So here, all the words says it's just easy, but I had made it so big and realized how the divine had already worked it out for me. I can even just park my car over there all night long. I'll be the first one if I want. So because nobody gets a ticket parking on our streets. We don't have parking meters. We don't have 2-hour parking. If you want to leave your junker by the side of the road, nobody's going to bother you. It's your car. I like that.
It's good. It's good.
But that's my portal. People say, how come you're living like that's the portal? That's the world that's nurturing me now. And just we want to look at everybody. And so mantras are really cool in a way of an affirmation or anything that say you want to control your mind, then pick out those statements that you want to feel. And one really good one is there's nothing for me to worry about ever again. Now that is really big. Now, how do you do it? Well, as you say it, feel it. What would that be like if there was nothing? How would you feel? Really nothing, everything's handled. It's all taken care of. It's all going to work out great in every moment. So suck it up. How does that feel? Would you be, but the mind go, well, that's impossible. You can't do that. What are you talking about? You're going to be serving there. They want to grab you back. They want to get you back, into it. Get the in trance. You're starting to break the trance. What are you doing?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Break the trance. Once you see it and you know it, trance is broken. It's always broken.
Let yourself feel the greatness of how that feels when a trance.
That's right.
A lot of people.
There's nothing to worry about ever again.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
It's
and once you get that relationship, you surrender into what it is, the divine like that. It only wants good for you. We're the ones who are saying the words that are mantras, the things we say to people, what the people say to their children, the words cut, and statements. But even like in mantras, some of these beach mantras, they'll have like, say in Om, which a lot of people know that one, but there's a whole lot that's packed into the Om. So when you add this and then you've got a few others and then you say your thing, you've got a whole bunch of stuff that's packed into this, working on levels that most of us don't notice or are aware of, these mystical levels. That is actually how the rainstorm came, because you go, oh, well, that's just coincidence. No, it's not. Forget that's coincidence. There are no coincidences ever. Anything that happened as an effect had a prior cause. When you go somewhere, we don't know the cause of the disease. No, because we're not going to tell you. Because, we really don't know. We just know how to make the disease and then try and give you medicine to get over it. That girl, she quit everything, weighing 400 pounds. Now, I'm not saying you people have to do this or whatever, but she investigated it. And 15 years later, she's even with the MS. She's even working, having even more of her body is getting more in control without taking medication of any kind.
Isn't that amazing? Also, talk about this fruit. I mean, her own personal feat. She went into this portal herself and made
that portal
to leave the other portal of the diagnosis that she was receiving.
Yes.
And also, I don't know if people know, but that fruit is alkaline in the system.
Yes, very alkaline.
So that is what cleans out a lot of the diseases in our bodies. And I think it also, I don't know if I can make these statements, but it might rid us from the parasites. I don't know if the parasites like the acid, something about the acidic environment.
Well, the parasites love sweet sugar. So you probably, because they would hang out like in honey. If you're going to eat honey, it's better to bring it to a boil or something to kill parasites. But then you don't want to boil your honey because it makes a poison. So you just have to eat your parasites.
We should retitle this podcast like "Choose Wisely," right? Because every choice is a portal.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's that whole thing. But yes. Looking at, we have a nice little co-op here and a sweet woman who's the baker, everything from scratch, homemade bread, but I don't eat that stuff. But like when I go somewhere, I might bring like a scone or something, and that's still a portal because it's got sugar in it, it got a little bit this, and you're going to react. It's going to do something. And so that's action, reaction. Everything here is cause and effect. So when we decide the affirmation, like saying, hey, I'm lucky. And I remember when I first started practicing this, I went to this big banquet and I won 6 door prizes, one right after another. And there were a couple hundred people there. And then I stopped because they all were looking at me. They hated my life, they wanted me gone. But there were not big deal prizes, but it didn't matter. I was winning.
The frequency of winning.
Yes. Exactly. I was winning them. Okay, I'll quit. But that's true. I quit also with my ministry because I'm very wealthy, just not money wise, but I do everything. But people got jobs. I'm helping people. I'm working for them. I'm doing my job. But a lot of people would resent that. They resent their teacher. They don't want their teacher to prosper. They don't want to give their teacher the credit or something, to even the appreciation. It's very strange. And or even how you are with a great teacher. You want to learn, you want to receive. It's like I had the greatest voice teacher. Oh my God. And maybe the portal, I would say, gosh, I wish I had done differently I wish I had asked more questions of family, people I met, things that they're so rich, or you find so much out about them that you never knew, that is influencing you in your life, and all of this. And it's what may I say? Yeah,
It's amazing if people would live the way we're talking about, and the opportunity is there in every single choice, every thought, every feeling.
That's right.
But you were talking, Terry, and saying, I wish I had asked more questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's whatever it was with the Native Americans and gathering around the circle. It's wisdom sharing. It's the gathering.
Yes, right.
And we can learn so much from somebody else's experience, that maybe they went into a portal, learned a lesson, and they can share that with other people. You don't have to go in that portal.
That's it. Yes. Right? Yes, I agree. And I look around, there's a lot of seniors up here. And every once in a while, when I'm talking to one, they start to reveal they did amazing things in their lives. And they do want to say, but people don't want to hear. The youth doesn't. Their own grandchildren don't want to know, or they don't want to hear, or even the advice. And what happens when there's the portal of people are taking a media portal, where they're getting their food, their inspiration, everything from individuals maybe who are, what would you say, extremely popular. It's made that way, but really aren't going to have any real value for these people as an eternal soul, and to really be happy, because they don't know what's making them miserable. They're I know. And what we work for is to help people to realize, hey, this life is a portal. You stepped into this world. Now, what are you doing with it? And you have this opportunity this is the greatest work in the world. It's all about you. And because, yes.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say that when I have been in the deepest challenges of my life, and we all know, everybody can kind of reflect for a moment, just a few seconds of like, what it's like when you're in a dark spiral. And you do have to dig yourself out.
Yes.
The best way that I learned to do that was to use my words. Like you're saying, words are portals of reality. Yes. I would, and this is more than an affirmation or a mantra. It became a living, like life happens through me, right?
Yes.
I created a story that I wanted to be living. And I did this is beyond like the chicken soup for the souls.
Yes.
And the manifesting.
He was one of my students.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, he always wanted to be rich. So he'd attend everything I did.
Wow.
It's funny.
That is cool. I know you're the teacher of teachers, right?
I guess. Well, I'm that old now.
Well, and this is the point.
I'm the one left standing.
Right? But this is the point. If you're down in some deep, dark life, or you're at the bottom like your dad was, or you people in your life that see you're starting to make changes and they're snarky about it.
That's right.
Sometimes you're not celebrated for making change. The best thing that I did was to create a story with just a few words, few sentences, and then the feelings. And that is what dug me out of my deepest holes, that I knew that more than I knew my suffering. When I knew the story I wanted to be living, I used words. I didn't know it at the time, but I did literally portal myself into a different reality.
Yes, you did.
Have that power. They also have the power to keep you incarcerated. They can liberate. They can incarcerate.
That's right. That's right. I did my deepest. I watched The Unsinkable Molly Brown probably 50 times. I was so low that I had to get myself up and go.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's the core? Obviously, the title is there. I looked that up because you've mentioned it before. I don't think they show that movie.
It was Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds. What's the synopsis? Like, did she just have a mantra where she was just powerful inside herself and
she was. Yes. And there was a real story about it, Molly Brown. But she was like made a lot of money in silver. Mm-hmm. And what happened is that it was, you know, how they fantasize, change the movies and do all that. But basically the story, and supposedly she was on the Titanic, which, you know, wasn't really the Titanic, it was the Columbia, and they got the Titanic. We never know. But anyway, yeah, it was on that. And that when she would get down, and this really nice husband that she had, she wanted money, so he brought all this money to her, and she didn't know where to hide it, so she put it in the wood stove to hide it. And he came home that night, and he was cold, and lit the fire and burned up all the money. But then, so it was like they had these things. And she was like a little hillbilly, and so was he. But then when she got the money, she wanted to be rich, went to Europe, you know, gigolos and all of this stuff, and really then decided, appreciated. And on her way back, that was the Titanic. But I think she made it. But she wanted to be accepted by society and all those things that we go through. And she, at the end, she came to her values, you know, her really sweet husband and her simple life and all of that. But it was whatever got, and Debbie Reynolds was a really good little actress and sweet and all that fun. But still, you use what you do something. There was this, I think, Gabriel Cousins, and I think he was like this, a doctor, whatever. And he did a lot of laughing. He would watch funny movies to get him into a better attitude. Yeah. So you do what you need to do, and know that you do not have to accept the verdict ever. And you take that stand and stand strong in yourself, because you cannot die. You live forever. You are eternity. You are life. And so now within body like this is so fast, because you can see your manifestations, your consciousness is projected all around you in a morphogenetic screen that's reflecting back what you're projecting through the mind and through your eyes and through your senses. That's your world. Doesn't mean it's bad, good, or indifferent. Enjoy it wherever you are. Once you realize that, you can be happy right now. Circumstances don't dictate to my state of mind. My circumstances don't control my life.
No.
That's just the movie. Oh no. Beep, bop, boobity, boop, boo. You have a good time. Yeah. I do.
Exactly. Well, I love that, because that sentiment is so what I think a lot of people need to hear is we can be transcend dancing. We can be dancing through the transcending. And then one more question I wanted to ask you before we close this out, Terry, is that as people begin to embrace change like this in their lives, they embrace using words as their wands, and they
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they portal into the experiences that they actually are choosing.
Yes.
As other people are uncomfortable with the gap that is forming, as some people are breaking out of the matrix, what is one of the creative ways? Do you just keep dancing and keep going in the direction and let them be the naysayers, or the people, they not every.
I don't bother them much, because they just get more irritated the happier you are. And so I found it's really weird, this little market up here. It was family owned for many years, and then a few years ago they changed, and these other people, I don't know what they're, but it's not a happy place anymore. And it's to go, they should even be playing music or things like that. And I did, Michael and I both, we're really cheery, we smile and we're happy. Some people, it just irritates them. So I let sleeping dogs lie. They can keep asleep. I'm not going to bug you. What I'm going to do is myself is jumping inside, and I'm having a good time. And as I bypass you, I might have a smile on my face, or I might not. But you know what? I just leave you alone.
Yeah.
And because I know my presence is making a difference. And those people that want it, and I show up, I'm a street minister too, because, is that I'm right there if there's anybody or anything, but I don't want to meddle, but to be able to, just be there and to help. And sometimes it's just a kind word and your hand on their back. that
Yes.
because I remember that happened to me when I had been in such an abusive relationship. And I went out to dinner with this man this night. This was going through a divorce, whatever. And he just put his hand on my shoulder, and I just melted. Not that he was special or anything, but I was so used to being abused that no touching, no holding, no loving. And I didn't, I'm not blaming him, but this is just the portal. That was that world. Because it was like so many people too. The best day of their life was their marriage. The worst day was the next day.
Wow. Wow.
Because
some people,
it was over.
Yes.
It was like, what happened?
And it's a contract.
And it's a contract. Till death do us part.
Yes.
And some people die just to get out of the relationship.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Happens all the time. That's what they call a wake. Wakes were like a funeral. They had the casket in the room with the dead body, the body in the casket, because in ancient old times, they didn't take the blood out and all that stuff, because a lot of times they were in a coma. And so the party would go on, and he could wake up. And if he did, he could get out of the box and join the party, which would happen. But that's what awake is. When someone says they're awake and awoke, well, yeah, that's at a funeral for a dead body.
Wow.
So have
and what
fun.
You're saying also that that soul is making a choice whether they're going to go through door number 1 or
yeah.
number 2.
Two.
Do they want to party with
those? Or do you say, I don't like those doors. Got any others? Yes. Don't eat. The school gives you multiple choice of their suggestions.
Yes.
Not.
We choose our doors.
Yes.
We choose our portals, right?
Yes.
That's what's so important.
Yes.
Right. And I love when you hear stories, and Terry, you probably have witnessed many, and I have too, of people reinventing their life, like leaving America, pivoting and leaving a job and getting a different kind of training, or just backpacking through Europe or something.
Yes.
And finding a new way to.
That's right.
Life can happen through you in a new way.
That's right. That's so beautiful. Yes. It's so beautiful. You're so wonderful, Marie. And I love watching you here. You don't see me over here. I'm very expressive with my hands. I'm talking to you. I'm all over the place.
I feel it. I feel you do. And I know our listeners can too. Well, these are very powerful conversations because the energy that we're bringing through, right?
Yes.
We're speaking to the realness of the challenges that people are in some portals right now that they don't want to be in.
That's right.
And some people are in portals that they like, but they could be worried that it's not going to last.
That's right.
Right. And this is so important for all of us to remember that you've said, we are the magic. We are the ones creating our experience. And even you're saying, and that's a new perspective on death for me, I have to say, is that is some people's portal into just another experience because they're done with the one that they have. And that's an act of creation, right?
Yeah, it's always creating. But because you don't die, this is a mental state here. I work on that. That's the most important thing, because you have to be ready for that portal. And it's like you're there, but they think you're gone. But that's just because you left your old garment here. Yeah. But what happens is you're in the astral, so you are manifesting very quickly, because nothing has to go through the dimensions or anything. It just shows you when you're there. A lot of people like that, or they want to hang out there. But that's not, I'm looking, and I'm working it. It's like, this is my life to live as I choose. And whatever it's going to be up to me. And where I am, but I know I can't do it. So I know that I've got a source. And there's a loving, mothering, giving, fathering, or however it may be, and all of these that it's been working for me. And hey, nobody knows the future except if it's a program. But the spiritual world doesn't work that way. And so when all these people are prophesizing horrible things, and they're doing it, and they say this has to happen, and this war is going to, no, it's not. Stop that. All of these things, it's like they're affirming it, and they're saying it, and they're building it, and then people get to, well, it's obviously that's the way it is. Like, no, that doesn't have to affect you. If you agree, you make a contract, you're in it.
Yes.
What are you going to get out of that? I'm so surprised that, most people, it's intellectualism, which is a memorization of trying to follow a script of some kind when you're already successful human being, divine being, sweet soul. Just be who you are. Be beautiful. Be you to the full. Really easy.
I love that. Be you to the full. I love that.
Yeah, I love you. Yeah, you're so sweet.
This is so fun when we get to play. We hope people are enjoying this.
Yes.
This format too. You get to see me, but I think the sound quality's better on Zoom than we had before.
Yes.
And we have so much fun playing and sharing these messages.
That's right.
And we're all going through this. We all have.
Yes, we are together.
Together. We all have experience.
Alone and together. Alone and together. Both. Alone and together. Yes. Yes.
Right. And so we know.
And it's so much more fun together too.
When it's good more fun together, and to play like this, and to acknowledge when it's hard, but not spend a whole lot of time on the hardness. All you have to do is get yourself moving in the right.
And we're calling it hard because the thing was like, it looked so big in my mind of the car, and then it comes, wait a minute, it's easy, and it's right. I can just walk across the road. We don't even have stoplights here. We have big logging trucks, and we've got people on their motorcycle or their quads or electronic, what do they got? Motorized wheelchairs whipping around town. I mean, it's a wild place. Just go across the street. Michael says, I'll just park the car there. I'll be all ready.
It's so good. And
thank you, God. Thank you, Mother. Thank you.
I know that just removed all the dread and put you first in line. And the other thing I never got back to say that I loved how where you were fretting about it, and then you just decided, I'm just going to give my attention to it on one day.
A day, that's right.
Give
it fully.
Instead of giving 7 days a week to it, you just said, this is it.
And worrying about it and fretting and horrible. And then even what's the worst thing if you don't do it? Oh, well, who knows? There's nothing worse. It's going to be just great, whatever it is. And I'm thrilled.
That's it. Life is great, and life is happening through us. And that's
you are life. You are life. You are life, and you are eternity. And it's the Shakti, the energy of life. It's so cool. It's like if we just really. It's not like where you're going to go and what you're going to do. Just the being in the ecstatic joy and bliss of right being with your divine, with the divine. It's, you just get, wow. I mean, it's a wowsy, wonderful experience.
Yes.
And sometimes it doesn't feel like that. It's only because we've believed some words, some thoughts. Yes. So we've got programmed by something. Or that's why you don't share the things that are really important to you, because when you do, they're going to give you comments and they're going to criticize it and talk you out of it. You keep that sacred.
Yes,
this is sacred and precious as you.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks, Marie.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for being my friend.
Yeah, I know.
You're so much fun to play with. My playmate.
Right. We are playmates, and we hope everybody listening on this channel and also on Timmy's channel on YouTube.
And Substack. We're both on Substack. Tell people get on their Substack. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Both on Substack. You can find Terry. I'll put the links in below there.
I haven't done much lately, but I've been working on it for like what I'm going to say. I mean, because I know I'm working.
You've been deep with the mother. You've been deep with the Bhagavad Gita, the Devi. Yeah, the feminine perspective.
Yeah.
So people can look for more good stuff from Terry coming soon, and find us both. And if you haven't found Terry on Substack, it's
and the videos, YouTube videos.
Yes, her videos.
We have 1,000 videos up there, and the things and people will say, "Oh my God, thank you, you saved my life." He said, "It was exactly what I did. I didn't know where I was going to go." And then our audience are mostly 18 to 35-year-old. These are the ones going to be bringing in the new world in the world.
They know
it's like
something's up. They know
something. Yes. I feel yes, and none of them really have any money or anything, but it's fine. They give what you can, but I'm there to serve.
Yes, you are.
And they're like my kids anyway. So what are you gonna do?
I know you adopt.
I adopted them all. Yeah, Mom.
Oh, well, thank you. This was our conversation for August, and we'll be back again in September with more topics that I think will be relevant to people's experiences. And so keep playing, keep portaling into the portals and gateways that you choose, right? And if you're in one right now, you make the change, right? Mm-hmm. Shift your words, shift your language, and play, listen to music, get out in nature.
That's
right. Visit
with
the yeah. And watch a good movie that makes you laugh. There are all kinds of tools.
Listen to yes.
Right.
It's good.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next month. Blessings, everyone.
Yeah.